Hey everyone! I am filming a video on my floor again today. I feel like every time I post a video I'm like changing spots and I can never like find a good place. But today I wanted to really film this video as soon as possible before I forgot, because I watched the movie To the Bone and I knew like the movie was coming out and stuff obviously, but like I also knew I wanted to make a review on it because I know a lot of people subscribe to my channel are suffering from eating disorders and stuff, and I'm sure that like some people are curious about the movie, I guess. So today I'm just gonna, in this video today, I'm just gonna talk about my opinion. So spoiler alert if you haven't watched it. I'm gonna mention certain aspects, like none of it is really spoiler, well I guess kind of, so long story short, skip to the end of the video or whatever, or actually read in the description box. I'll write my, what I think about it in short. I wrote down notes on my beautiful cracked phone, so I don't forget. So basically, if you guys don't know, To the Bone is a movie that just came out on Netflix on July 14th. Today we're the 15th, so I watched it yesterday. And yeah, it's about a 20-year-old girl who's suffering from anorexia, and it basically follows her treatment path, story, journey, that's the word I was looking for, into recovery. Before I continue, in short, I would just like to say that I'm going to talk about the movies. If you guys think that you're going to be triggered by me talking about the movie, well then don't watch this video, obviously. I think we're all responsible enough to not self-trigger ourselves, so yeah, that's a little disclaimer. Also, I thought it'd be interesting to have a perspective of someone actually suffering from anorexia, talking about what they thought about the movie, aka me. Sorry if I'm looking into the viewfinder a lot, it's because I'm not used to filming in here and stuff, and I don't want the battery to die on me. Basically, the main character's name is Ellen. She's suffering from anorexia, so straight off the bat, if seeing skinny people is going to trigger you, well then don't watch it, because anorexia in itself is having, I think it's 15 or 25% less of your ideal body weight. So for most people that means being underweight. I think that's actually a criteria for anorexia, is to be underweight or something like that, I'm not really sure. A person suffering from anorexia is gonna be skinny in a movie made partly to like educate people and also for entertainment purposes, so they're obviously gonna pick someone that's shocking. I will talk later about the actress's weight loss at the end of this video. Basically, warning, she is thin. I mean, I was inpatient 4 times in the past, and I saw plenty of girls that were skinnier than Ellen in the film. So for me personally, it wasn't triggering to see someone that thin, because I've seen worse, and that didn't trigger me either. Like, that's an aspect of the illness that you have to face yourself, is that eating disorders are very competitive, especially anorexia. It's a lot about wanting to be the thinnest. So, given body dysmorphia and everything like that, there's a 100% chance that you are never going to think that you're the thinnest and thin enough. So you're always going to see someone that's thicker than you or thinner than you in the real world, in movies, in entertainment, wherever. There's people that are smaller than you in the world. There's people that are smaller than me, and like, it's fine, you know? So everyone is different. There's always going to be someone sicker than you. There's triggers everywhere in the world. Like, you can walk outside and see the really skinny girl, like skinnier than Ellen in the movie, and it could trigger you, but like, that's a fact of life. You can't make skinny people disappear off the face of the earth. Some people are naturally really thin, or they have other health conditions that you don't know about or whatever. Just stop comparing yourself first off. They do address that they used a lot of special effects and makeup on Lily Collins, who plays Ellen, to make her appear really thin. And like, yeah, a lot of people are angry that the main character is really thin and suffers from anorexia and is white. But like, there's a lot of other individuals in the movie that suffer from binge eating disorder, bulimia. There's males, there's a pregnant girl, there's older people, younger people, there's people like of different weights, there's a lot of variety, and I think that that's actually a really good point of the movie, is that they don't just focus on like a group of white girls that are all anorexic. But yeah, why they chose an anorexic patient as the main character is because the director suffered from that herself. So that's why she wanted to make it that way. Even though anorexia is the rarest eating disorder by just a bit, I think it's important to respect the director and the filmmaker who made this movie to talk about her own story with this eating disorder. If she didn't suffer from anorexia, disregard that point, but maybe that's just the way she wanted to do it. I think that the representation of treatment was actually pretty good, other than the fact that there's certain aspects that were kind of weird, which I guess it revolves around the unconventional doctor's place, but it takes place in a residential treatment home. So I found it slightly misleading that they called it inpatient, because most of the time that refers to a hospital. But it was a residential home, and basically the people in the home didn't have any supervision during meals, which I found really weird because that's not how it's like at all. So if you watch this movie for like a good representation of what treatment is really like, a lot of it is really similar, I would have to say, except for the weird part about how they don't want you to eat, because like, duh. But other than that, like, they show a lot of behaviors, well, not even that many, but like, honestly, I was watching the movie and I wasn't even surprised. There was nothing that I saw that I haven't heard of or seen before. And I think that a lot of people with eating disorders are pretty educated about their own illness or like their behaviors and stuff, that like, I don't think that you're gonna learn any new tricks, you know? And watching a movie is not gonna give someone an eating disorder, but that's my own opinion. I personally, long story short, was not triggered by this movie. I thought it was actually a really good movie, and I'm really pleased about the way it turned out. That's my opinion. So, I forgot to mention also that they have like people of color also in the movie, that suffer from eating disorders, which I thought was really nice, because I don't think there's not that many other eating disorder movies that do that. Yeah, like they talked about a lot of behaviors, like, I know they talk about calories, but like, who doesn't know how many calories are in different stuff and stuff like that? Like, if you don't want to know, then don't listen. Don't watch the movie. But they do mention behaviors. Like, I could list them if you guys want. There's calorie counting, they show a little bit of over-exercising, actually a lot of over-exercising. I don't really know if there's that many other, like, there's really not that many behaviors compared to other films that I've seen. I think that one thing that could have been worked on was like the realism of the treatment thing, is because like people would be like, oh yeah, like I think it was the male in the house, he was like, yeah, I was here for 6 months and he's from out of the country, and like for someone that's out of the United States to go to a residential treatment center like that for 6 months, that is freaking expensive, and the movie does not at all talk about how they pay for all this. Which I think is pretty insane, because one of the things that stops people from getting treatment is the price. So I think that could have been talked about a little bit, but I don't really know how they would have introduced that into the movie anyway, so I guess it's fine. It doesn't show the expensive cost, but something that it does show that other movies have not shown in the past is the family dynamic and how it can contribute to an eating disorder. So like, I don't know, like personally in my case, my family dynamic contributed a lot to my eating disorder, and I think a lot of other people are like that too. So I think it was really interesting that they showed like the family problems contributing to the eating disorder. But other than that, they slightly touch upon Tumblr and Thinspo and stuff like that, which I think is important, because that's like a problem in our current society, is like Thinspo and bad Tumblrs and like pro eating disorder Tumblrs. If maybe my opinion is slightly biased, because I suffered from the exact kind of anorexia that Ellen suffers from. I don't purge. I just restrict and over-exercise. I don't take laxatives really or anything like that, so it's like, perhaps my opinion is biased because I really saw myself in Ellen, but I've watched a couple other reviews of people, and they saw themselves in Ellen also, so maybe I'm not alone in this. I also think that it was really nice that they showed different stages of recovery, like for example, Ellen arrives to the house and she doesn't even want to get better. Shows that she's in control, blah, 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 so I think it's very true. But then there's other people that are like further along in recovery, and they're like doing super well. So it's really nice, well, not super well, but like it's nice to see the different stages of recovery and how you can get there. And it's really nice to show that Ellen does find the motivation after all. And I think that one of the best points of the movie is the part where Ellen kind of hits the wall, or rock bottom, where she doesn't know what to do anymore and she says she just can't. And then the doctor says, I don't exactly remember his exact words, but he basically emphasizes that no one can recover for you but yourself. And it's kind of like, some people would say it's tough, but I mean, that's how I talk to my friends that are recovering, is like, if you want to get better, you gotta do it for yourself. And nothing else is gonna make you want to do anything more, but it has to come from within. And I think that's really important for people that watch this with eating disorders and stuff, to know that they're responsible for their own illness, and that it's not Tumblr's fault, it's not society's fault, it's not your parents' fault that you're like this, it's you. You're the one who decided not to eat. Like afterwards, yes, it's a mental illness, like there's compulsions and stuff and it's really hard, but in the end it has to come from within and from you to get better, to make those steps towards being recovered. I think it was really nice that they talked about that, because other eating disorder movies often just like focus on how the person develops the disorder and then they just kind of get sent to a treatment place and then come back healed. But that's not how it is, and I think it's really nice that also they show that like Ellen goes more than once, and like people talk about their more frequent admissions and stuff like that. That like they don't just go there once and come out fine. My last critique is just that like I really, really love the movie. I think it was a really good representation of anorexia. I would not say of all eating disorders because they don't really focus on the other eating disorders that much, but they do, like, I don't know, they have a variety, so that's nice, but it really just focused on Ellen's anorexia. Finally, Lily Collins lost weight for this film, for this role, and my opinion on this is like kind of mixed. Like, personally, if I was recovered and I really wanted to be in this film that talks about something so deep and close to me, and that if I were to go act like myself when I was sick, I wouldn't want to do it at my recovered weight, you know? Because that's not how it really was. I think that, I mean, Lily Collins is an adult, right? She decided this for herself, that she really wanted to do this role, and that I think that it was a joint decision that she would lose weight for this role, and that she was supervised by a nutritionist and a doctor and went to support groups or whatever, and like she said she's fine. So I mean, when someone says that they're fine like that all the time, like there's nothing you can really do except believe them. I mean, you can't talk for the individual, you can speak for yourself, but you can't speak for others. I think that people need to kind of relax about saying that this is like triggering, it's a terrible movie, blah 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 blah, because it's not. It wasn't triggering for me, and I thought it was a really good movie. I think that the people that say that it's triggering or something is because something in them is afraid to admit that, I don't know. I don't see how it could be triggering, as long as you stay true to yourself. Like, I guess it could be triggering if you're really deep in your eating disorder and you're always comparing yourself to others, but I think that this movie could do more good than harm, even if you're afraid to trigger yourself, because in my logic, if you're getting triggered so easily, it's because you're doing really, really badly, or you don't have a lot of insight into your eating disorder, and I think that this film could show you a lot of insight, like, into your eating disorder and recovery and stuff, even if you're doing really badly, or you don't really know anything about eating disorders. In short, I think it was a really good movie. I would watch it again. Some things could have been improved, but I mean, nothing's perfect. But yeah, if you guys have anything to say about the movie, comment down below for sure. I'm open to, I really want to hear you guys' opinions actually, but this is just my opinion that for me it wasn't triggering and I don't think it should be. Because like everyone wants movies about eating disorders and stuff like that. Like there's no perfect way to portray something that's so touchy, like an eating disorder, that's so taboo still. It's just like, there's no perfect way. There's always going to be things to work on and issues, but like, we just gotta move past that. Like, nothing's perfect. But yeah, we got what we asked for. A movie talking about eating disorders, and I think it's the best one yet that I've seen. I've seen a lot of movies about eating disorders, but this one was really good. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than that. Watch at your own risk, I guess, but I really don't think that it should be that triggering. But yeah, that's just my opinion. If you guys have anything to say about the movie, let me know down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Tumblr, all that jazz, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!